if we integrate more, if our borders were that open and we integrate and we live like we are one, all this learning each other's culture, language, trade, whatever it is, will come effortlessly. And that is exactly what Europeans are enjoying by being in the Schengen countries. A typical European can speak 4 to 5 languages fluently. Meanwhile, we in Africa, the three major languages, English, French, and a bit of Swahili. There is no one. Hardly can you see somebody who can speak 3 of them. So I am just using this to say that the people who brought the borders, they have done away with the borders. They are benefiting from the no border policy. Not having borders is doing them more good than harm. An average African who just want to explore the countries in their mother continent, Africa, cannot afford that. Now, to get the visas to this country is very expensive. And when you now decide to look for the money to get the visa, when you get to the point of entry, some of these immigration officers are just very hostile. Welcome, everyone. I am Osih-Oyelude. All right. I am a proud Nigerian and, by extension, a proud African. So, whatever that concerns the continent and how we can grow, how we can develop, how we can work together to foster growth in our beloved continent, I'm always here for it. That is always my concern. I am always here for things that would unite, Africa. So, but I know that cannot be achieved, cannot be fully achieved if some things are not put in place, if some things are not addressed, if some things are not looked into, right? We will just continue to be like neighbors, like the countries in Africa will just continue to be like neighbors who do not know what is happening in the other person's, compound or in the other person's house. It's not like we should pry, but in a caring way. That is, we should know what is happening in other people's country. But that cannot be, or that is not happening because of some things that we have decided not to do away with. So this video was inspired by this. I know that a lot of people knows this guy. His name is Larry Madowo from Kenya. Now, if you don't know Larry is a CNN journalist. He works with CNN. So he's, kind of popular. A lot of people know Larry. Now, Larry recently went to Cameroon and he made this shocking revelation. Well, I call it shocking. For some people, it's, normal. It's okay. But it's shocking to me because of, an African visiting an African country and you're paying this amount. So, yeah, this is what he posted. He said, my single entry Cameroonian visa cost €229, one of the most expensive visas an African country charges other Africans. In fact, Cameroon gives visa-free access to just 7 African countries. Why do African countries make it so hard to travel within our continent? You see, that exactly is my question too. Why do we Africans make it difficult for all of us, all Africans? Why do we make it difficult for us to visit each other? Why? The people who brought these borders to us, I've said it this, I think I've done like 2 videos before on this, something like this, not exactly like this, but where I mentioned that the Europeans who brought the borders, they have done away with their borders a long time ago. Schengen is the result of open borders in Europe. Countries that are under Schengen, I think they are, if I'm not exaggerating, there are more than 30 countries, 24 to 30 countries that make up Schengen countries. France, I just want to mention a few: France, Germany, Switzerland, Belgium, Bulgaria, all those countries in Europe. Now, do you know what that does for them? If you are a Frenchman, you have access to so many countries in Europe, visa free. Their borders are off. They are enjoying the benefit of open borders. They are enjoying the benefit of, easy access to each other's countries. Now you can see a European that can speak up to like 4 languages. They can speak German, they can speak Dutch, they can speak English, they can speak Spanish, they can speak French and other languages. Why? This is the result of open borders. They can easily integrate their cultures. Now come to Africa. Unless very, very few people, I don't know if you can see a Nigerian who can speak French. Meanwhile, for the 3 borders, all the countries that border Nigeria, they're all French speaking. That is one of the things we would have benefited from if our borders are that open. Everybody is protecting their borders in Africa. Why? Why are we closing our borders? I know that some people, when I did that video, some people said, some African countries that have been able to secure their borders, they maintain peace, development in their countries. If they open their borders, these troubled countries the criminals in those countries will come into our countries and come and disturb our peace. Now, your concerns are valid. They are genuine concerns to have, right? But I tell you, if we have all been working together, these issues would have been addressed a long time ago. You see, the Europe countries that I talked about, now because their borders are open, I'm sure there is a way they all share intelligence, their security agencies. So for instance, maybe if there is somebody being chased, a criminal being chased in France, and then maybe decides to run into, let's say, Germany, for instance, they can easily, the security agencies can easily share information. And then that you're running to Germany does not mean you're safe. When you get there, they can apprehend you. If we Africans have been working like that, I'm sure we would have gone to that stage now where we are our brothers' keepers. Some countries on the continent of Africa, they've been fighting war from time immemorial. I remember when we all looked away, what happened in the case of Rwanda. But now there are some countries, all they have known is war. But other African countries are moving on like it doesn't concern us. Maybe it doesn't. So the reason why, because it's not happening in my country, is happening there, let me close my border. But you don't know that those criminals will still find their way into your country if they want to. Now, if you open your borders, there are so much to learn or so much to benefit than just thinking that the only thing that will be wrong is when you open your borders, criminals will come in. If we're all working together, we would have built that formidable force united the way Schengen countries have done. So the criminal activities will be the least of our problems, looking at the bigger benefits of open borders. You might call it premature that if we do it now, it's a problem. Yes, that is why we are not enjoying the benefit of open borders. You have something, but your next neighbor, you need visa to go to those countries to access. There's something you're selling that you can sell to your other country, but the bureaucracy of taking it to that country because of closed borders, the thing will stay in your country. You will not make the money. The thing will get rotten in your country. Why? Because of policies, border closing, and all of that. Why? And you see, for Cameroon, I'm genuinely concerned because if Nigeria is charging so much for visa, I'm going to ask the Nigerian government, what is this? What is in your country? What is in Nigeria that you're charging so much that people want to come to your country to come and see? If for nothing, you should make a lot of things attractive enough for people to want to come. Hiking visa price should be the least if you want to open up your country for tourism. Maybe Cameroon doesn't want to, and that is also okay. But it begs the question that genuine question, the thing that will warrant that amount of money for people. What is that thing you're selling in Cameroon that I will say, okay, I want to pay this money to come and see? Now, for instance, if they say 1 million to pay to go to Dubai, you will say, okay, this is the amount Dubai is charging. Rightly so, because see Dubai and die. You know that, okay, you know what you're paying to go, you want to go and see that. That's why you see America, all these countries, if no matter the amount they put on their visa, we will pay. Why? Because you know that there is something you want to go and see there. I have been to Cameroon, and we are part of the 7 countries that are visa free to Cameroon. Nigeria is part of the countries that are visa free. I think Nigeria, Gabon, Mali, Congo, Central African Republic, Equatorial Guinea. It's just more of like the countries that borders them, and maybe a few other ones that are not, that doesn't bother them, right? So I have been to Cameroon. I didn't pay that much, so I would agree that yes, maybe the countries that are visa free are not paying that because I've been there. But I'm still asking, that money you are putting, trust me, an average African who just want to explore the countries in their mother continent, Africa, cannot afford that. So if Larry Madowo, that is from Kenya, paid 229 euros, that is Larry that can afford it, or probably that money was paid by the company CNN where he works, right? So he could afford it. And again, I guess he was going there to work, going to Cameroon to work. So that money is enough, it's okay for them to pay. But for people who are just like normal Africans who want to say, okay, let's take a trip, let's explore our continent, they wouldn't. If 229 euros is already out of the money you want to use to make a trip, how much is left for you to get a hotel, for you to pay for your flight, for you to get there, explore the town, and maybe movement inside the country? How much are you going to hold as an African to explore these countries? Like, why are we doing this to ourselves? When our leaders, when they meet during their AU meetings, what do they discuss? What do they even talk about? I guess nothing. What do we do for ourselves? Nothing other than fight ourselves, because all we see our countries, we can only fight ourselves, fight our neighbors. The neighbor that you're supposed to be, benefiting from, selling to, buying from, exchanging cultures with, exchanging, so many things with. Some countries, the only thing that we as Africans would do better is to fight with our neighbors. To fight with our neighbors. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Is it to make calls from Nigeria to other African countries? That's even a conversation for another day. Because you see, it's cheaper to call from Nigeria to call America, to call Canada, to call Europe, to call UK than to call a fellow African country. The money you will use to call, let's say, Nigeria to Cameroon, maybe the money used to make a minute call, you will almost use it to talk for like 4 to 5 minutes making a call to America or UK. Now, to get the visas to this country is very expensive. And when you now decide to look for the money to, to get the visa, when you get to the point of entry, some of these immigration officers are just very hostile. Meanwhile, if it's another person from another continent with another skin color, you see how warm and receptive they will be to that person. But a fellow African countries, fellow African, they treat you like there is something you're coming to take in their country. Why are we doing this to ourselves? We don't even know each other's culture. Nothing. We can't integrate. Can you imagine? Like, I will give an example for me. I think I've said this also again in the video to see how bad it is that I and my cousins, when we're traveling to Ghana by road, I think I've told this story before, but for those who haven't heard it, we're going to Ghana by road. So somehow, when we were in Benin Republic, I don't know how we missed our way. We now went to the northern part of Benin Republic. And then we found our way, we were in a border, the Cotonou border, that is not even in use at all. Nobody uses that border. We were told that the border are smugglers' routes. So when we saw some people there, it was a case of it's better we go back, find our normal route, and start going to the Ghana that we're going to. Because if we decide to we can't even cross, and Ghana is even too far from that northern part where we found ourselves. Mind you, that place was very dangerous. We could meet the bad guys to, maybe harm us, or their gendarme, which is their police there, can think that we are smugglers, and whatever they want to do, they can shoot, they can do anything to us. But I'm giving this story to why we should integrate and know each other's culture, languages, and all of that. Why it is important. You see, we English speaking part, we can't even speak French, except those who, by stroke of luck, learned French, either by virtue of being there. We don't even make attempt. So the French people, French, they even try, because that's why I'm even telling the story. That when we got missing in that place, here we are, English speaking. We can't speak French to save our lives. And the people we're meeting, they were all French speaking. They can't speak English. But you see why I say that French people, they even make effort more than the English speaking Africans. Because at some point, when we missed our way, no network, the GPS, whatever, wasn't working. So how to find our way out of there to get to the main road, to get to the road that will have to take us to where we are going to, which is Ghana, was a problem. How are we going to communicate with people? The only thing we could speak is, "Du parler anglais? Du parler anglais?" And when we see them, they will say, small. That one will direct us. When we meet another person again, "Du parler anglais?" The small English that they could understand, they were using to direct us. Okay, "Du parler anglais?" Yeah, small. They will tell us again, the one that we can understand, the English that we can pick from them will continue. When you go again, "Du parler anglais?" "Du parler anglais?" It's just like in Nigeria. Let me give you an idea of how missing we were. It's like you are in the east, you're going to Lagos. Somehow you don't know how you found your way. You are in Kano. Meanwhile, you're going to Lagos. So from that Kano now, you now have to start coming to Lagos, because that is where you're going to. So somehow they told us that we have to go back to the east before we start coming to Lagos. So Nigerians, you understand how missing really we were. So the little English they could speak to direct us. When we say, "Du parler anglais?" they'll say, small. They will now direct us. At some point, Immediately they saw that we're Nigerians. So, Igbo, we know Igbo, Igbo, Igbo. They had to go and call one Igbo guy that was in one corner selling spare parts in that northern part of Benin Republic where you cannot even see a Nigerian. The Igbo man came out and was the one that now used, our language and, English and Igbo to tell us that, okay, this is this, this is this, this is it. But what I'm trying to say is that we were able to find our way. Why? Because even French people, they even try to make effort to speak in. I tell you, if you're a French person, all you know how to speak is French, and somehow you get missing in Nigeria, 100% chances that you cannot randomly see who can speak French to show you the way in Nigeria. I am saying this. 100% chances that you will not just randomly see who can use French to give you a direction on how to find your way out of wherever you are that you're missing. So why am I telling this story? If we integrate more, if our borders were that open and we integrate and we live like we are one, all this learning each other's culture, language, trade, whatever it is, will come effortlessly. And that is exactly what Europeans are enjoying by being in the Schengen countries. That, like I said earlier, a typical European can speak 4 to 5 languages fluently. Meanwhile, we in Africa, the 3 major languages, English, French, and a bit of Swahili. There is no one. Hardly can you see somebody who can speak 3 of them. And that is not same for people in Europe. So I am just using this to say that the people who brought the borders, they have done away with the borders. They are benefiting from the no border policy. Not having borders is doing them more good than harm. Nobody is looking for where to deposit their countries. No, their country's population. Because I know that's what some people come here to say, Nigerian people are looking for where to go to. Not that. Because people will still go there if your borders are open. Because they know that they can go there and come back home, go to your country and come back. They will go and come back. Because there is nothing restricting them. They will go, they will come back. And if all of us are integrating, you'll find out that we will all be enjoying like the Commonwealth. And sometimes some people will not have any reason to want to leave their country to go to your country because they know that they can be in their country and enjoy the benefit of your country, and you can be in your country and benefit and enjoy the benefit of another person's country by virtue of open borders. If it's the security issues, I know, I understand, but I'm saying that if the government, they sit down to say, okay, the government of all these countries in Africa, they sit down to say, okay, I want to open borders, and then they take security as a major issue. These countries can come together and work on security, and everybody will be sharing intelligence report, be sharing information, and be securing the continent as against us securing our countries. That is what they are doing in Europe. I just look at our countries and Africa. We are the one that doesn't even have anything, and we are the one closing our country. You will come out, you say, you will see maybe to go to maybe a country like Sudan. To go there now, you find out that to get the flight to that place, flights don't even go to some of these countries. And when you not even see flight, the charges and call is another thing else. So that's what I'm saying, that if all these countries, if we're all working together, the security issues would have been what all our countries' security agencies will come together and work together. We will all be policing everybody's countries. Then we all will be benefiting. We'll be benefiting. It's not a case of stay in your country, let us say that. Well, yes, it's okay. If you want to stay in your country, it's good. But I'm just saying that there is a bigger benefit when we all work like we are a united Africa, not in mouth, but in works, in action. Because all of us were Africa unite, but you can't go to your fellow African country. You can't. Either you cannot go because of immigration, Either you cannot go because the fare is too high, or the visa is too high, or the visa cost is high. Just there is something. There's always something that's like a hindrance. Meanwhile, we Africans are enjoying the benefit of when we go to other countries, the easy passage. You see, as a Nigerian, if I get Schengen visa, I have the liberty to travel without my Schengen visa. All the countries under Schengen, me that just have Schengen visa, I can travel to all the countries. If there are 30 countries that are in Schengen, I can travel to all of them. Me that is not from that continent, me that is not a European, by just having a Schengen visa, I'll go to all these countries. But we don't even have the country, what do you call it, the visa that can, like a single visa that all of us can use. We don't have it. There was a time they pushed for, what do you call it, for us to have a single currency in Africa, like how euro, they are all using euro. Let's push for a single continent, a single currency. Till today, our government in the continent, they're all just doing the way they like. We all will stay in our country, no problem, because when you say it, of course, if it's a Nigerian saying it, it looks like you are looking for where to go. If you like, however you want to understand this video, it's your business. But if we see what other people who introduce the borders are benefiting by removing their borders, I think it's about time we also remove our borders and enjoy the benefits of open borders. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Let's continue to build this community. I'll see you again in my next video. Bye for now.